Three-time 450 champion Eli Tomac finally wrestled the points lead away from Chase Sexton at round 7 in Minnesota. But it took an epic battle to get there. Can the young Honda rider respond today against Tomac at Washougal? The 450 stars are headed to the starting line. Moto 1 is moments away.
It's round 8 of the 450 class of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, sanctioned by AMA Pro Racing. This is the Motorsport.com Washougal National, presented by Peterson Cat. Been a phenomenal championship run this year in the 450 division, but Eli Tomac has ripped the points lead away from Chase Sexton with the power of 4 straight overall wins and 7 straight individual moto wins. Dominated at Southwick. It was a little bit closer last week in Minnesota, but he's able to hold off Sexton to the flag there as well. So we anticipate a great battle today. Hello everyone, live here on MAV TV. Jason Wygant, joined by the 9-time AMA National Champion Ryan Villapoto. Great racing in the 450 class this year. What are your thoughts on what you've seen?
Well, Eli's on a roll right now, and Chase is going to have to stop the train from leaving the station. It's, we have a great day here at Washougal right now. It's a little bit overcast, so I think the track's going to suit both of these riders really well, so it's going to be a fantastic race.
And here's the track they'll be battling on. MX versus ATV Legends. Got real gameplay here. Take us through it, RV.
Yeah, right past mechanics area. Their start comes on here, come down into this right-hander, the iconic horsepower hill. Got this nice little tabletop coming up, long, just grabbing gears all the way to the top. Get to the top there, you're probably doing close to 50 miles an hour. Got to brake really hard here into the left-hander. Another really fast section along here through those rollers, and you got this big send down the hill into this left-hand turn. Get the inside there, get out to the outside, get your lines right, pick for this big downhill. This is when you come back into where all the fans can see you into the tight left-hand, right-hand S turns. Really technical right here. As it comes down into this used to be where the old Chuck Sun used to be.
Chuck Sun jump, yeah.
That's right, yep. Into catcher's mid corner, and then here's a nice floater triple that we have here into a massive single into the sand section.
Looking pretty good on the bike there, RV. Looking good.
It looks better than I do right now.
Okay, yeah, all right, we'll use the virtual version maybe these days. Hey, Dungeon's back out here. I'm just saying. Your old rivals are back, and we'll watch him and the rest of the 450 field in action as we get ready for the 450 first moto of the day here on MAV TV. Stay with us from Washougal.
The 50th anniversary season of Pro Motocross is brought to you by Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive. General Tire. For whatever you do, General Tire delivers. And by Honda, celebrating 50 years of off-road dominance.
GoPro mounted on Justin Barcia's front number plate, giving you the GoPro course preview. Some qualifying earlier today. Watch out when you got Barcia behind you.
That's right. You can hear Justin revving at this guy. I think it's Mosman in front of him.
Oh!
His brother, yeah.
Josh Mosman, yeah. Works for journalist at Motocross Action. Been racing some of these on the West Coast.
Yep, just trying to let him know he's there.
When it's Barcia, you know. All right, that's the GoPro Hero 10 camera on Justin Barcia. That's the course preview. All season long, for the 50th anniversary of this championship, we're chronicling the 53 riders that have won AMA National Motocross titles. Includes this man, Aaron Plessinger, who's been signed from Yamaha, now over to KTM. And they know they're getting a rider with a championship pedigree whose best days may still lie ahead of him.
Aaron Plessinger is part of an AMA legacy. His father, Scott, was a multi-time Grand National cross-country champion and a 2021 inductee into the AMA Hall of Fame. And like his dad, Aaron's path on two wheels started in the woods and on the trails, and he only envisioned himself winning off-road. But Aaron was also supremely fast on a motocross track, so he turned pro riding motocross and supercross for Star Racing Yamaha in 2015, and he'd capture the first overall win of his career at that season's final race. AP improved steadily, and by 2018 he was ready to fight for titles. After taking a 250 Supercross championship, he'd earned 9 podiums and 6 overall victories, to stand alone at the top of the podium as the 250 national champion, making the lanky rider from Hamilton, Ohio, the 4th champion in 5 years for the Star Yamaha team. The following season, Plessinger would jump to the 450 class. And while injuries have slowed his progress on the big bikes, his connection with the fans has only grown. No one has more fun at the races and on the podium than Aaron Plessinger. He's carved his own path, from the trails to the track, with a personality as unique as his story.
And we had AP on the podium just a few weeks ago at Southwick, looking to replicate that here at Washougal as we get ready for 450 Moto 1. What a fun season to watch it has been. It started with 4 winners in the first 4 rounds. Let's see how it unfolds today at round 8. Send it down to Jason Thomas with a Fly Racing pre-race report.
Eli Tomac seems to have everything working right now. He was your 2022 Monster Energy Supercross champion. He's won 7 motos in a row and 4 overalls in a row in this Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. And to top that, he won an ESPY this week in the male action sports category. So at this point, I don't know what he can't do. I'm just going to go ahead and launch the campaign. He's going for president in 2024, guys. There's nothing else left to win.
I know, although he'll have a competition, I guess, at the polls from Chase Sexton, who's trying to keep it close. We'll see how this turns out. We've been mentioning also the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. Next round of that championship will be August 11th and 13th, the North-South 100 in Kentucky. We're going to sling some dirt here from Washougal. Here's KTM keys to the Moto, RV.
Yeah, these guys are going to have to really watch out for the shadows, and as the day goes on, the sun's coming out, which is going to bring those shadows, make those shadows worse, but they're also going to have to put water on the track. So these guys are in that sight lap. They've known where the slippery spots are, but like I said before, it's different at a race pace.
Yeah, they're going to be pushing really hard here as this Fly Racing 30-second card comes up. Only 5 points separate Tomac, who is now the series leader, from Chase Sexton. Can anyone else get up in the mix? They have been 1-2 in the last 7 motos of this championship. Here we go. 450s from Washougal. Is that Ryan Dungey going to lead them? Motosport.com whole shot line, and Dungey has been fantastic at this track in the past, and he's off to the early lead, but here comes Sexton.
Yeah, right up Horsepower Hill. Dunge with the whole shot, but Chase able way deep down then off Horsepower Hill there, able to make the move, and now clear track.
And Tomac quickly up to 3rd, and Jason Anderson 4th. So 4 of the fastest riders in this series have started in the top 4 spots. Benny Bloss there with them as well. Good start for him. And look at Tomac going after Dungey.
Yeah, this is Dunge's. This is really good position for Dunge here. He rides well at this track. If he's got a shot at a podium, I think it's gonna. If it comes, it's gonna come this weekend.
Yeah, I know you and Jason Thomas theorizing this track better for him than his home track last week.
I think so. Just the way Dunge kind of sets up his bike, his riding style. He's got a ton of wins here at Washougal, so he's got a lot of things going for him.
Oh, and Tomac, big air,
sending it.
Whew, bottoms the Yamaha, almost got alongside Dungey. Dungey able to hold him off, and Sexton tries to pull away up front. And let's see if Anderson can go with this group as well. Last week, Sexton and Tomac pulled a big gap on everyone. To be different here today at Washougal.
Yeah, great position that Chase just put himself in, making a quick move on Dunge. Now clear track. And like I said, it's a great position to be in because he's able to ride the lines he wants to ride and ride his own pace.
Well, he had the good start. Last time he had a whole shot was back at High Point, and he nearly pulled off a moto podium there. That was his best race of the season. So Dungey, we've been talking about it all year. 5 years retired, came back into racing this year, and makes you a contemporary for the day. This is the guy you banged a lot of bars with.
Yeah, we've had a lot of battles between Supercross and Motocross. We've actually had a great battle here back when he was on Suzuki's in the 450 class. So I'm rooting for him. I am.
All right. Yeah. I mean, you can say, look, if you decided to come out of retirement, maybe you'd be running in a podium position.
It just makes me look. It makes me look good when he's out there running in second.
I know. You did not want Dunge to come back and be like 12th. That would not make you look good.
That'd make us both look bad.
No, exactly. Let's watch this. This is Tomac trying to make the move on Dunge over this jump.
Yeah, just comes in, leaves it on, and just no brakes, and just tries to scrub it a little bit, but sends it so deep into the sand.
That is a hard landing.
Shows you how tough those motorcycles are, or these motorcycles with the hubs and the spokes and the rims.
Yep.
I mean, that's a substantial landing right there.
Back down to the S turns, and Dungey hanging in there. And kind of like at High Point, the longer he sees his pace and stays with these guys, the better he gets. And you can see the crowd. They are loving this from Dungey.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a packed house today, and what a great race we have already with the top three within 1 second of each other.
He's staying right there. Sexton, would have loved to have sprinted away and try to get a gap between himself and Tomac, but Dungey has kept it to about a second. Tomac looking to set Dungey up again as we go to this big infield triple.
You know, we had a chance to talk to Dunge earlier today, and he said he made some bike changes from practice, just freeing the bike up a little bit, just suiting his style a little bit more, and trying to find that traction, get more comfortable on this track.
He said he relaxed the bike. What does that mean?
I mean, that can mean multiple things,
okay.
right? I mean, we sat over there and talked to him, and I get that makes sense. Maybe a little freer. Try to, like I said, get more traction out of it. You get the hands to feel, not to pick up all the little chatter that Washougal gets. Could have come from the fork, could come from the shock, or both.
Into these whoops at the finish. Dungey hanging tough. He's got some pressure from Tomac, but Tomac's not all over him. And in fact, he's making a little run here on Sexton. Look at Dungey go.
Yeah, he's riding really well right now. Would it be amazing for him to get a moto win?
He's had 12 450 motos at this track. He has won 8 of them. Of course, all the past stats ended 5 years ago, 6 years actually for motocross. So we're not sure exactly what that means in 2022, but so far, so good for the number 5. He is right in the thick of it. And Anderson must have made a mistake. He was 4th. Roxon and Savacci have gotten around him. Plessinger 7th, Bloss, Barsha Martin. Oh no, what has happened to Dungey? Lost his drive there.
It looked like a little bit of a bike issue.
Oh, a mechanical. He had such a good race going. Now he's picked it back up. No, not quite.
It's intermittently running, it looks like.
That was exactly what you wanted to see. A track we know he's strong on. Did the job by getting the whole shot, and now he has problems. He's off the side of the track.
Wow, that's such a bummer.
Unreal. Just about 3 laps into this moto.
And a perfect position for him to start this moto off. And what a bummer to have issues like this.
I'll tell you, he's not in a perfect position now. He is about as far and is a difficult spot to get back to the mechanics area as you can get. But the bike is still running to some degree. He's fired up now. He had done everything he needed to do. Got the whole shot. Was learning from Sexton, was holding off Tomac, was running with them.
Yeah, that's a big bummer. You know, I've been in this position before, and it looks like it's running right now, but maybe a fuel problem, electronical. I mean, there's so many things going on with these factory motorcycles that we'll have to get it back to the truck and tear into it.
And what it leads us is the same 1-2 punch we've seen in this series for quite some time now. Chase Sexton on the Honda, Eli Tomac on the Yamaha. Whoa, hold on to that, Chase Sexton.
Eli with a big quad into the whoops.
Yeah. And just like that, the mistake from Sexton, the big jump from Tomac, gaps about half what it was, and you can tell Eli's starting to roll now.
Yeah, and it just seems like that's what Chase has been doing lately, is just little bit of mistakes, and Eli's able to just capitalize on those.
Hartraft on the
Suzuki.
mistake
by Eli. Blew that berm out. The rear tire went over it, slid out.
Okay, and that last section opened back up. Hartraft crashed actually around the first turn, and his race might be done. We tracked Dunge's progress. He's just trying to get back to the pits. And now he can't ride the motorcycle anymore. He was able to get it around slowly. Well, I'll take some energy right there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he did have it. I cannot figure this out.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's running sometimes and not running other times.
And the other heartbreaker for Dungey is that your second moto gate pick is based on your first moto finish. So now he's going to have the worst pick, and the leaders just went by. A little salt in the wounds there.
Yeah, for sure. It's never a good thing to watch your competitors go by when you were sitting right between both of them.
Heartbreaker, and these fans were feeling it as well. They would love to see Dungey up on the podium today. Maybe he can do it in the second moto. Obviously, for the day, it's over.
But like you said, it puts him on the outside. He'll have last gate pick, so gate pick won't be ideal for Ryan in second moto.
Little mistake by Tomac, but he has climbed back in it, back to the rear wheel of Sexton. As we head uphill, let's see how hard Tomac goes over this jump. Keeping it under control. relatively now.
It kind of looks like to me Chase is riding a little timid or tentative, and Eli's just kind of sitting back, watching, and just waiting.
7 motos in a row. As we mentioned, it's been first and second, and in the same order. Tomac over Sexton. That is a tie for the second longest such streak between two riders. And they're looking at the KTM now. You hear him trying to crank the electric starter. And it does run. But not right.
Nope. Eli's closing in on Chase right after the finish line here. It's going to come down into mechanics area here shortly. We'll see if we can read what's on their pit boards, but I'm assuming it's give her everything they have right
attack,
now.
Whatever, go for it. You don't need to tell Eli Tomac much when he's in this position. He has been there many times, and he is hard to stop. But it is up to Sexton. You said it at the top of the show. He has got to respond to what Tomac has thrown down lately.
Yeah, and being that Washougal is a bit one line like it is, Chase just needs to hold his line and make Eli go around and make him go around the long way around. And just try not to make any mistakes. That was a great turn by Chase right there.
To Horsepower Hill we go. Yeah, Sexton opening it up just a bike length or two on one corner alone. They have pulled 10 seconds clear of Roxon, who's third. Anderson has repassed his teammate Savacci to take over fourth. Savacci, by the way, twisted his ankle pretty badly in qualifying. We thought that might have been the end of his day. He's gunning it out in fifth. Plessinger sixth. Barsha Bloss, Craig, Alex Martin in the top 10, looking for his first top 10 of the year. On the Muck-Off Club MX Yamaha. Oh, Tomac's right there. Battle is on.
Yeah, let's see if he can, actually the only passes made in the first moto of Lights Moto was at coming into the whoops. So let's see if he's going to push Chase wide there.
Yeah, we also have that new right-hand, left-hand combination that did offer.
Yep.
But I'm curious, it was so much better on the outside. If all these riders now know that that's where you need to go, let's see how it shapes up. Right here. Left, and then here's the right. And yeah, both riders using the outside. It's not really the corner though; it's the jump after it.
Yeah, it's coming into it and then the jump after it. You know, it's Eli's gonna have to close up on him and then potentially. That's where I see a pass coming from is in that new section and then coming into the whoops.
Almost had it there. We've seen Tomac make some passes in this section. Sexton doing everything he can to stop him. And it's looking a little ragged here for the 23. He is under serious heat from Tomac.
Yeah, Eli made him go to the inside, which then put him on the outside for the next turn and pushed him wide. And it's just not a good position to be in right now, having to fend off Eli.
And you don't often see that with the riding style of Sexton. It is poetry in motion most of the time, but he is having to switch lines on the fly against Tomac. He's trying to square him up here from outside to in. Setting up a big run into this left-hand corner, but Sexton has it covered. Great rematch. They put on a heck of a show at our last race in Minnesota, and it's on again today in Washington.
Feet off the pegs there. Eli's just letting that YZ450 eat.
And another interesting thing you'll hear these riders say, I know you ride a Yamaha, it has a distinct sound. So I'm sure at this point he's gotten a glimpse, but you can hear when it's Tomac behind you.
Oh, he knows for sure. Yeah, the Yamaha does have a distinct sound with the airbox being up underneath or above the tank there.
Dungey's out. Back to the Red Bull KTM Semi. Well, he'll be fresh for Moto 2 as we go back to the battle. Tomac's on the inside. He's being patient. Oh no! Sexton almost comes to a stop in that corner.
I thought he stalled it for a second.
Too. But he had the inside. There was nothing Tomac could do. So he's able to hold him off. And we've seen this so many times in this sport. Started the year with 4 winners in 4 rounds. But these two elevating to match each other. They've marched away from everybody else. There is no one back there.
Yeah, no, these two are on another level right now. And it's just such a bummer to watch. Dunge was right in the middle of this, and you know, that could have been his chance to really see these top guys, the speed that they're running, and open up his eyes a little bit for that.
Yep, and if he had done that, it could have opened up a gap on everybody else as well. So really tough for Ryan Dungey. So check this out. We mentioned as Tomac looking for lines here,
And there it is, Tomac to the inside. He's got the lead.
Great pass.
And what the graphic is showing is 7 times in a row, Tomac's finished first and Sexton has finished second. That is tied for the second longest such streak ever. And this could move it into second by itself. And the longest streak such, 12 Moto wins and 12 seconds for Ricky Carmichael over Kevin Windham back in 2005. The difference this year, Sexton has been close a lot, and the points are close. But right now, Tomac moving away. Oh, and it looks like Jason Thomas has caught up with Ryan Dungey. JT.
In the pits with a very dejected Ryan Dungey. Ryan, you got the start. Everything was looking great. You were even pressuring Chase Sexton there for a second, and things kind of came apart on you.
Yeah, no, it was, the positives, it was a really good start. And it was nice to kind of get on the rear wheel of Chase and just kind of, I felt the pressure from Eli, of course, behind us. But I was just excited to be here. Track really suits my style well, and we were running up there. But, you know, hey, this motorsports. It's engines, and you're dealing with electronics, and this type of stuff happens. So, you know, we're going to try to get, their team's going to get it all ready for the second moto. And, yeah, it'll have a bad gate pick, of course, but we'll try to put in a good effort and salvage some good finish in the second moto.
Well, Ryan's a little bummed out, but still have Moto 2 to try to put it up on the podium.
Thanks, JT, and that's the old trivia. The reason we have 2 motos in motocross, because back in the day, bikes broke a lot, and the promoters knew the fans wanted to see the stars. So we will get a chance to see Ryan Dungey out there in a little over an hour, but yes, he's going to have last gate pick. If he can pull out any kind of start, though, it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Meanwhile, Eli Tomac is powering on and pulling away from Sexton. Here's the motorsport.com whole shot replay. Dunge gets it.
Yeah, great start from Dunge, able to control the start, control this inside, and had the lead there for a quick second, and Chase was just able to come up the inside up Horsepower Hill.
Yeah, Sexton wanted it right there. Dungey edged ahead, and then Sexton would get it from there. But Ryan Dungey, the motorsport.com whole shot, and now we're left wondering what might have been, and also what happened to Sexton. Man, once Tomac got the lead, he has put the hammer down, and it's a 2.5 second lead. We're halfway through this one, 15 minutes down. 15 minutes to go. You can save 15% or more on your motorcycle insurance by calling Geico with just a 15-minute phone call. Wow, Tomac has thrown down.
Yeah, let's see. It looked like Eli got Chase a little flustered, maybe riding a little tight, you know, when he was pressuring him so hard. Let's see if Chase can regroup and put in a charge. It's going to be hard to. Eli's on a roll right now, riding really well. He's asking and getting everything out of the bike and the track.
Huge battle back here. You got Savacci and the Kawasaki under pressure. Justin Barsha sending it around the outside. Beta Motorcycles giving you this shot here in this left-hander, and Barsha makes the move.
Yeah, haven't seen Justin so far except for this lap here, riding really well. Was able to go around the outside of Joey after the finish there.
And Barsha, and the next rider you'll see behind Savacci, Christian Craig, they've got something to play for here. They have both said they would love to take the third and final spot on Team USA for Motocross of Nations, which will take place at Redbud. It's presumed that Tomac and Sexton, I'd say those are some pretty obvious picks, will be the top 2 riders on the team. But both Craig here, who's trying to set up Savacci, and Barsha said we'll race to 250 for the team if asked. And they're trying to audition here to get the spot. Savacci under pressure. Barsha got by him. Here comes Craig up Horsepower Hill. Craig's got it.
Yeah, able to just rip right up the side of him and go right around Joey.
And I wonder if that ankle that we mentioned at the top of the moto is starting to affect Savacci. He looks pretty rough here.
It definitely looks like he's kind of babying it a little bit, you know. You get the adrenaline kind of comes down.
Okay.
We're 13 minutes left of this moto. You know, and there's probably some pain coming into play.
Well, we were in the Callaway truck to check on him, and he looked miserable for a bit. Then collected himself. He had the ACL injury coming into the year, so that was our fear, but he said it's actually the ankle and the hip, but the knee itself is actually the only thing that's okay.
Yeah, robotic.
It sounds like it. Surgeon did a good job. And look at this battle, and I'm telling you, Craig and Barsha know that people are watching them to see how they perform against each other. So there's serious motivation between these two to show the AMA that they should be on Team USA.
Yeah, Christian's been riding really well recently.
And send it down to Jason Thomas with Craig's mechanic.
So I'm down here with Brent Duffy now. Christian putting in a great ride, charging from the back. Now my question for you is about Motocross of Nations. We know he's one of the favorites to be picked to ride the 250.
Yep.
Have you guys done any testing yet, or is that in the plans?
The 250 is built. We want to ride it this week. I know Barsha did some riding this week, so we want to show that we're eligible candidates. And right now, Christian followed on the first lap, and Barsha's the next guy in line, so I think that's good enough for a tryout right there.
Well, there's a race within a race, and both of those guys between Barsha and Christian Craig want that spot. It's up for grabs at the moment.
I love it. Duff Life giving us the pitch. So Craig was down early.
Yeah, that's we didn't see that on camera. So great position he's put himself in after going down. He's 7th all over Justin right now. So first lap crashes are something that you do not want in motocross.
No. Okay, so Brent back to the pit board now, and the battle is on right now. Barsha against Craig. By the way, this is for 6th. Aaron Plessinger is just ahead of them in 5th of the Red Bull KTM. And then it's the Monster Energy Kawasaki of Anderson in 4th. They've gotten around Savachi. Benny Bloss been quietly putting together some solid top 10 level runs as of late. The BBMX KTM, he's 9th. And Alex Martin is still 10th. Back to the Barsha versus Craig battle. And pretty funny to hear both these guys going out of their way to say how much they would like to ride a 250, riding 250s during the week. In Barsha's case, oh, it is on right now. Craig is all over it.
Yeah, Eli and Chase have 20 seconds on Kenny in 3rd.
That's what we've seen as of late. They have pulled away for the rest of the field. Still, actually, I got to say, a podium for Roxon. The way things have gone the last couple of weeks, that would still feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get on the podium, I'm sure he won't be happy with it, but it's a foundation to start pushing forward and getting back up on the podium and getting those moto wins. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, it has been rough on Roxon as of late. 6-4, 16-12, the last 4 moto finishes for him. As Craig of the Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing ride, putting some heat on the Trulli Designs Red Bull Gas of Barsha. And you love the contrast in styles. Craig is as smooth and technically precise as they come, and Barsha is just all heart, all throttle, all aggression.
And I will say, Justin is one hard rider to pass, especially, and we're on a hard track to pass in general, with being that it's a little bit one line. Yeah, they're hanging it out here. But yeah, Craig's riding really well. Let's see if he can make the move.
I think that's 2 or 3 times in this lap alone where Barsha had feet off the pegs, and it didn't slow him one bit, just kept it pinned. They're actually closing in a little bit on Plessinger as they battle to go back to the leader. 1.6 seconds. So Sexton able to weather that storm and now keep it at least within striking distance. If Tomac were to make a mistake or get held up by one of these lappers, it's kind of like last week. The way Tomac caught him and passed him, you think this could be over. But Sexton able to latch on.
Yeah, no, riding really well. Just a lap or 2 ago, it was at 2 seconds. He was able to close in half a second.
Okay.
And as we see, like you said, we have lappers coming into play here already. So if Eli can't make clean laps and clean passes through these lappers, Chase is going to have a real opportunity.
I think he's closed up even a little more if he can, yes, got around that traffic. That was well timed. Sexton got a little lucky there. Tomac is still having to negotiate it. And what makes it even tougher, you see a pack of lappers together. I mean, they are battling each other, so they don't always want to just slow down. If the other lap rider doesn't slow down, it's going to be an easy pass.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a race, in their own race.
Yep, exactly. So, advantage Sexton, he's got it down to 1.1. All right, tricky section through here. And by the way, the sun is now out. Let's talk about those shadows. You said that could be a thing, and I think we're there now.
Yeah, we can kind of see you go from the dark to the very, very bright. So, you know, your eyes don't adjust that fast. So there's a little bit of a transition point there, but it is sketchy. You got to pay attention.
Battle for 3rd. Anderson has made tracks toward Roxon, so it is on right now. Anderson was up there early in the moto. I'm not sure what happened in the 2nd lap. He lost a couple of spots, and he has marched his way forward again. And Anderson was 3rd last week and took 3rd in the points away from Roxon. Big send for Anderson into those whoops.
Almost off the track.
Yeah. Faced the jump, almost off the track. Regroups with the Kawasaki. Gets it back together. Here we go into these corners. See if Anderson can continue to close back up. So what Roxon would need, just put it back up on the podium.
Yeah, I mean, with those tough 3-4 races that he's had, you just called off with a 14, a 12. You know, that's tough pill to swallow. So being back up here in third position, obviously he's got Jason beating down his door, so he's gonna have to make a move.
Sexton, he's got it under a second now on Tomac. Last time around, a 2:15.3 and a 2:16.1 for Tomac. So Sexton has figured something out.
Yeah, but it's one thing to catch him. It's another thing to pass him. So Chase is going to have to really close up this gap a little bit and then figure out where he's going to be able to make the pass.
I don't need a lot of fingers and toes to count the amount of times we've seen someone pass Eli Tomac late in a moto. It doesn't happen much. And then you've talked about that this is one of the tougher tracks to do it.
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, being that, like I said before, one line, there's pretty much one fast way around the track. Chase way on the outside here. That's a new line. Into the sand.
Look at this, right to the rear wheel. Sexton finding his second win, 6 minutes and 2 laps to go. Can he figure out a way to make a pass? He's completely taking the gap away.
Yeah, Eli just making a little adjustment with his clutch there, either adding some play or taking some play out. You know, it depends on how hard these guys are using the clutch. Sometimes it'll heat up and it can get tighter, or it'll get really loose. So depending on what he's doing, he's just adjusting it to keep that the feel that he likes.
Oh, you love to see it. The two title combatants going at it again. Sexton does not want to take 8 straight second place finishes, wants to ramp it back up, and the crowd loves this battle. And another pack of lap traffic for Tomac to deal with. And they get through.
Yeah, it's definitely, Eli's in a tough position right now because the lappers don't know who it is. He's the first guy to come to them, and then at that point, once he makes the pass, they're able to say, okay, here's the lead rider. There's got to be a guy close, and Chase is able to just get right past him pretty easy.
I think Tomac has picked the intensity back up. He knows that Sexton is there. Let's see if he can get back away, or can Sexton stay with him? Look at that from Tomac. Using all the horsepower that Yamaha has, and now we're going to see it again up Horsepower Hill. It's been fantastic to watch these two.
It has. We're coming down with 5 minutes to go, and it's still this close, which is phenomenal. Chase, though, is going to have to make a move here if he's going to make a pass before checkered.
I'm going to be curious if Tomac can be clean through this lap, what kind of time he's put in, because he really has been aggressive this time around. ETS Racing Fuel's giving it a shot as we crisscross through the trees and then back down into the valley where the fans are. Sexton able to get some ground back again. Anderson has taken over third. What'd you see there?
Well, Chase came out of that turn. That's the iconic section where Pastrana went down. I went down there. If you come out of that right-hander S turn, it's really slippery, and there gets some kickers on top there, and Chase just caught his rear wheel and ended up pitching him over the bars a little bit.
Over the floater jumps into the back. Sexton got the ground back on Tomac. Tomac had pulled away a little bit at the beginning of this lap. It was over a second, and now it's back down to 6/10. So they have their good and bad sides of the track. Man, watch Sexton come down that hill through those bumps.
Yeah, he was able to hold it in a little tighter out of those bumps and drive straight into that wall berm.
Into the whoops, they both enter on the inside. Don't want to flirt with those track markers all the way against their left.
Eli choosing to jump, Chase choosing to jump into the whoops and then blitz his way through. It looks pretty equal at this point on those different line choices.
Looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 laps to go in this one, depending on when they hit the clock. Tomac versus Sexton. In a Oh, Tomac tips over!
Down.
And nowhere for Sexton to go. Who's going to get up faster? Is it in fact? No, Tomac fumbles. Sexton cannot get the bike to fire.
Wow.
I cannot believe it. They have a gigantic lead over Anderson, and somehow no position change.
Still the same, 1-2.
I have never seen that scenario. Tomac actually fell twice, but Sexton couldn't get the bike to start. Now who can regroup?
Who can regroup, get that heart rate settled? Right now they just spiked it. They were probably already running around 180, 190. I bet you it's up at least 10 beats. They're frantically trying to get their bikes up, get them started, and now the race is to the checkered. It's 2 minutes to go.
So it is going to be a sprint with the heart rates at red line. Oh, Sexton, what a leap there. Honestly, it looks like they picked the pace up after that. I mean, it is full send right now.
Wow, yeah, this is exciting to watch.
Incredible. Sexton coming out of that berm there, loses a little bit of ground. Got to put it back together. The fans absolutely loving this. Unbelievable what we just saw. Sexton's got to be a little frustrated, just couldn't get the Honda refired and didn't have any room. That's why he went down in the first place.
And that doesn't happen very often, where you have either a rider go down and the lead rider and rider number 2 and second
Sexton
end up on top.
No, exactly. And a big enough lead. They still have 17 seconds over Anderson. Felt like they were down there forever.
They were down on the ground for a little bit. Like you said, Eli tried to pick his bike up, fell back down. Chase's bike didn't start right away.
And we're right back where we were 1 lap ago, almost as if that never happened. Incredible. So the battles have been unbelievable, and we've now seen something new. Contact for the first time, incidental as it was. And they didn't get there. There's still a minute on the clock, so it'll be 3 to go here at Washougal. Well, that slick dirt, we've talked about it a lot. It caught Tomac, but in the absolute best spot, an area where there wasn't room for Sexton to get by him. Sexton was too close. It was right here.
Yeah, it was. It's these ruts. If you start looking and watching at the rear tire or just the action of the shock, the square edge bumps are really starting to come out, and traction's an issue, especially through those S turns after the downhill. It's like a sheet of ice when they come off the top of that.
Tomac just hammering on the Yamaha, and then you see how smooth Sexton is, and it works out almost identical on pace.
Yeah, just different riding styles. Bike setup's a little bit different, you know. But yeah, it's Eli's the guy that hammers throttle, uses a lot of clutch, and Chase is somebody that just has a little more finesse. But there's no right or wrong way to do that.
Now, lap times will tell that story. On the lap where they both fell, they both ran identical 2:29s. That is incredible. And they still have 19 seconds now on Anderson. They just pulled it back out on him. Anderson has ridden well this year, but these two have taken it to another level. Is Tomac now inching away with a 2-lap card about to come out?
Yep, I think Eli's on a roll right now with just his line selections, the way he's riding. He's got the upper hand right now. We're coming down to 3 laps to go. It's his race to lose at this point.
Unbelievable. Does Sexton have one more charge in him? Can Tomac keep it clean? You don't often see mistakes from him late in the motos. He had one, but Sexton could not take advantage. Send it back down to Jason Thomas.
Well, the good news here for Chase Sexton is that he and Eli Tomac have gone 1, 2, 9 times in this series so far. The bad news is that he's been second 8 of those 9 times, so it's looking like we're about to go 9 and 10 on that stat.
Yeah, JT, and that would be the second longest such streak if it's 8 times in a row that Tomac has finished first and Sexton has finished second. But Sexton is so close. The record is 12 straight. Ricky Carmichael over Kevin Windham, but there wasn't much doubt going into those races who would come out on top. A race that Carmichael was in. I mean, Sexton, he's throwing another shot at it here and is closed back in. There is the 2-stroke Carson Brown going a lap down.
Yep.
The local product, that's an impressive run.
Yep, running 15th.
Listen to that. Top 15, Carson said that's where he wanted to be.
Is that what he said?
Yep.
Well,
at least points, maybe top 15. That's pretty impressive.
He's in 15th right now. Let's see if he can knock down a couple more guys.
Well, I was wondering if he could stay in the lead lap, but he came within a lap and a half of doing it on the YZ250 2-stroke. Sexton is back. He's there looking at the inside line on Tomac. Wheel to wheel.
Where did he get that time? Make that up.
I don't know. It was almost 2 seconds down. So he's got another shot at it.
Completely different lines coming over the top there. Worked out a little bit better for Chase, I believe.
All right, here it is. The 29-year-old out of Colorado, the 23-year-old out of Illinois. Wheel to wheel again.
That section right there, they need to, that thing is getting chewed up. And like I said, that's the part where I was talking to that. It's like a sheet of ice, but it's also really square edge. So the bikes are getting really upset coming off of that.
Yeah, so it appears that it's just slippery dirt, but the bike's bouncing around when you come out of that corner.
Yeah, you can't get any traction, so the rear tire is spinning, and then it's on all those square edge. So when you leave there, it's a very vague feeling when you come off there, because you don't know if the bike's going to kick forward, kick to the side, right or left. It's kind of whatever cards you get thrown at you right there.
And you just have to adapt and overcome, and that's what Tomac is trying to do. Sexton, one last push. White flag about to come out here. Moto 1 of the 450 class at Washougal. Pulling a lead away from Eli Tomac on the last lap is something you almost never see. Chase Sexton is going to try to do it. You just want to stand back and watch sometimes the way these two have elevated the game.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's as an ex-rider, racer, professional, it's exciting to watch these races. It's been a great year of racing.
And again, it started with 4 winners in the first 2 rounds. It looked like it was anybody's title. Sexton started with a 1-1 at the opener. Tomac figured things out in his first motocross season here with Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing. And once he got it together, Sexton was able to match it, and they pulled away from the rest of the field in tandem. Anderson third, Roxon, Barsha top 5, holding off Craig. Savacci, Plessinger, Bloss, Alex Martin trying to hold on for 10th over Freddie Noren and Marshall Welton. And Kyle Chisholm, the veteran, is back this weekend, 13th. McElrath and then Carson Brown still holding that 15th spot. Does Sexton have anything left?
I think Eli just pulled it back out to 1.3, almost 1.4 seconds. And we're on the final lap. So I will have to give it to Eli at this point.
Yeah, it would take a mistake, I think, at this juncture for Sexton to get it back. Another great run by the Honda rider, but again, cannot solve the riddle. That is Eli Tomac. Oh, was that showboating there? Or is that just the way he wanted it?
No, the way he came off that big single, there's some break and bumps, and came up there, tried to, it was in the scrub position and just took off in a weird kind of position, and the back of the bike started to float out from underneath of him.
Yeah, I didn't think 1.3 was enough to start throwing whips for the crowd. Eli's got to bring this thing home. Looking for his 8th straight moto win. And another huge challenge to get it done from Chase Sexton, including them crashing into each other. Sexton is right there again with the checkers in sight, but Eli Tomac conquers him again. 8 straight moto wins. Another fantastic race, this time Moto 1 at Washougal. We got to go to break, and we'll be right back to sort it out from the podium again. These two have put on some tremendous battles from coast to coast in 2022.
The 50th anniversary season of Pro Motocross is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on motorcycle insurance. Motosport.com. Make your next ride your best ride. And by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast.
Sweeping the nation, the Chase and Eli show, and we had another classic. We'll give it to you from Washougal, the Lucas Oil race recap. First, Ryan Dungey wanted to run with him. He gets to motorsport.com whole shot. It was looking good.
Yeah, it was looking great until, really sad to see it happen, but had some bike issues lap 2.
And there is Sexton getting by Dungey. Dungey was in second, dealing with Tomac, and then it comes unraveled.
Yeah, it just looked like it had an issue, and then kept riding, had another issue, and then had to finally retire.
And that was it for Dungey. So that left Tomac versus Sexton. Here's Tomac making the move.
Just coming up the inside there. Man, Chase should have been watching that or knowing that Eli's there, going to come up the inside, and that's what happened.
And then Tomac tips over. Sexton has nowhere to go. Now watch. Tomac's going to fall down again. But Sexton is hitting the electric start button, and the Honda won't fire. Then they both start almost identically, and the gap stays exactly where it was. And at one point, Sexton got it back down to 0.4 seconds. Look how close it is at the line. Final margin of victory, 1.1 seconds. We'll sort it out for the podium here from Washougal right after this.
The 50th anniversary season of Pro Motocross is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. With a nationwide network of parts and care, Napa helps you get up and go. Honda, celebrating 50 years of off-road dominance. And by Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive.
Hi, Tomac. I hate to be Captain Obvious here, but you're riding pretty well. That's 8 moto wins in a row. You actually turned your fastest lap on the last lap, so walk us through it.
Gosh, I mean, once again, me and Chase just going at it. He got me off the start a little bit, and then it was just game on there. And tried to sit behind his wheel, tried to find some good lines here. This is a track where you have to kind of find the spot and then make the attack as fast as you can. And I was thankful I was able to do that. And then obviously in the back section, I ended up stalling and just missed my line a little bit. He was right on my wheel. He fell on me. I couldn't get my bike up. I even dropped it the first time. So. Gosh, that was wild. I thought I blew it right there, but got up and got going again, and like I said, we were battling.
Pretty strong effort from Tomac, even through a crash.
They both had their best lap on the last lap, and they both ran the same time. 2:12.9 for both on the last lap. Unbelievable. There's your results. Anderson third, Rox and Barsha top 5. Saw that battle with Craig 6th. Savacci grits out a 7th. Plessinger, Bloss, and Alex Martin, his first top 10 of the year, finishes up in 10th. Go back to JT.
Chase Sexton, great ride. Fastest lap on the last lap. I know you're probably sick of getting second place, though. What's it going to take to get over that hump?
I just need some better first laps, I think. Eli attacked me and got me, and then I kind of had to learn a couple of his lines. He was getting me so bad before the finish line, and found a few of his lines, and then I kind of connected them with mine, and yeah, we had a good flow going. Both went down in the same corner, couldn't get our bike started, so it was almost laughable when we were sitting there just quiet, nothing, couldn't get our bike started, and then yeah, it was just a sprint to the finish. So just got to get a little bit better at the beginning, find some better lines, and we'll be in a good spot. Start was good, and looking forward to second moto.
Well, you can't say he's not trying. These guys are putting in a series here.
It has been so fun to watch, and the points are still tight. 3 more to the good for Tomac, but it's still within 10. Sexton has to believe that he can get this done. He's been close so many times. Like Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series coming up tonight. That's a Silver Dollar Nationals from I-80 Speedway. So keep watching for more great racing here on MAV TV Motorsports Network. And we're going to send it back down to the podium with JT.
Jason Anderson, I felt like this track would kind of work for your riding style. Very finesse, very precise. Had a little battle with Ken Roczen there, but hey, third place isn't so bad after all.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of a little bit frustrating because I was right there behind Dunge in 4th place that first lap, and I fell over. And then I honestly just need to give myself an opportunity to run with those guys and learn from them because they're on a pretty good pace right now. But yeah, pumped to get a podium moto, and hopefully we could do some more damage next moto. But yeah, thank you to the whole Monster Energy, Kawasaki, Alpine Star Aero, Scott Goggles, and yeah, let's do it again next moto.
As you can see, Anderson is wanting a little more from Moto 2, so maybe if he gets up there, he can show those guys what's up.
Yeah, thanks, JT. And now we see he did have a tip over early in the race. He was running 4th, dropped back, came back to get 3rd anyway. Motorsport.com upcoming schedule in this championship. We have 2 weekends off on the stretch run. We'll run through Unadilla, the legendary track in upstate New York, Budds Creek, Maryland, outside of Washington, D.C., Ironman Raceway just west of Indianapolis, and Fox Raceway in Southern California. It will be our finale. And let's take it through again. This is the critical point of the moto, the tip over and stall from Eli Tomac. This is wild.
Yeah, it just came in. It looked like Eli came into that rut and then just started to lose the front wheel, and Chase was so close behind him, and they just ended up on top of each other. Chase tried to pull his bike up, couldn't get it started, and there it was. They ended up finishing the race right where they were.
Yeah, it actually made no difference whatsoever in their positioning against each other on the track. We'll have a rematch in a little over an hour. Don't forget, we'll get Dungey back in the mix as well. He was riding well until he had the bike problems. That will be in a little over an hour, 450 Moto 2, but we have 250 Moto 2 coming up next year on MAV TV. So just keep watching here. Been phenomenal racing all day long. Congrats out to Eli Tomac for digging out another Moto win in a phenomenal battle against Chase Sexton, and also Hunter Lawrence getting the first 250 Moto win. For Ryan Villapoto and Jason Thomas, I'm Jason Wygant. Stay with us here on MAV TV.